Smack dab in the middle of the week, you find yourselves with us yet again, and I thank you for it. Good morning, everybody. Paul Ihander with you. Max Goren is here as well. It's going to be one of those days, right? One of those days to prep for what is ahead. Do want to let you know about a couple of things with the threat, and there's always a severe weather threat around these parts in the middle of August and early September, and really kind of a lot of fall because we get into that season, tropical weather and influence and whatever it is. Again, I wanted to be a weatherman when I was 8 years old. I don't think I've told this group that, you listening, I want to be a weather guy. Totally want to be a weather guy. I wanted to do the high pressure thing, low pressure thing, give you the forecasts, and these days take a little bit of heat for it because everybody thinks they're a weatherman. I'm not. I take my cues from professionals who have degrees. I have a science degree, but it's not in meteorology. With the threat of weather coming up, especially on Friday and certainly on Saturday, a lot of local high schools are moving their games. So just to make you aware, you're probably seeing social media feeds. You can also follow our crew at highschoolot.com. A lot of games that were set for Friday night are being moved to Thursday night, and this is just to get out of the threat of weather more than anything else. I think if they could play tonight, they probably would, but in a lot of cases, there's just, there aren't enough officials. There aren't enough chains crews. There aren't enough time to get concessions and things like that ready, but you can move things up a day. So just want to make you aware of that you probably, if you're a high school sports fan around this area, you probably, or a high school sports fan throughout this area, you're probably seeing things move from Friday to Thursday or maybe deeper into the weekend because Friday afternoon, evening could be a little interesting, and Saturday could be that kind of same way too, depending on how things go. So just making you aware of that. Number two, last night, my name was placed in town of Rollsville history. Myself and a bunch of 7, 8, and 9-year-old girls and our coaches were honored with a proclamation at the town of Rollsville council meeting last night, Board of Commissioners meeting. Honored us for our great job playing a sport. It's just the best way to put it. We played a sport. We excelled at it. We did really good, and we were honored last night, and it's very rare that you get to honor kids in that way. And so I'm very proud of the girls team that was able to coach this past spring. Last night was a nice feather in the cap, a little bow on everything. And I know we've I'm actually going to talk about youth sports here in about 15, 20 minutes here with something really weird. But, we've seen the kids down in Archer Lodge winning the Little League World Series, and there's a group of kids down in Garner who won Tar Heel League Baseball State Championship this past weekend because it got postponed by a month. Like, it's really cool that you get to have those accomplishments and be honored in that way. And whether it's civic pride or, you're a business out there trying to honor these kids or, honestly, just parents and community members high-fiving or hanging banners or whatever, it's just cool. So I just want to put that out there because we're always talking about kind of bad things and we're trying to stir the pot a little bit and we're trying to be all funny and clever sometimes. And in some cases we're successful and many cases we fall flat. But on a day like last night, I was really happy. I was really proud. Parents were really happy. The girls were really happy. And I know it's easier to bring out a smile. So really, really proud to be a part of that and to see what happened. Okay, so today is 2 days before the Carolina Panthers take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's another road game for the Panthers. So the Panthers have not played at home and will not play at home until the final week of the preseason, which is August 28th. That'll be at home against the Houston Texans, in which it'll be C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young dapping it up on the sidelines, probably not playing. We know Friday night will end up being a starters kind of night for the Carolina Panthers, and we'll address that here in a hot second. But what we have today is a joint practice. And I'm all about a good joint practice. I haven't always been this way. I always thought, okay, what are you actually gaining by just – you could do this yourself. In the NFL, you've got a lot of things at play when you bring in an opposing team. The idea is that you're going to smash heads against a crew like, we've been going up against the same guys over and over and over again. Well, that's kind of what training camp is. It's not like you have a practice team in basketball that you hire, like women's basketball teams always hire like the tall guys on campus, and they say, all right, you guys we're going to practice against you guys. I need you guys to push us around in the low post, guard us out on the perimeter, and our team's going to make fools of you, but we need to go up against somebody that isn't us because we already understand our tendencies. We already understand the playbook. There's nothing new. We're not going to surprise anybody. We need to be able to run these plays and run this offense. And that's where my kind of eyes got turned a little bit. I'm like, okay, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, common sense should suggest that you should play against somebody who doesn't exactly know who you are. Common sense should also suggest and should also warn you that when you finally stop beating each other up and you go up against somebody new, especially for the first time, that bad things are going to happen. And it happened yesterday. And this is where we need to be very careful about being the Carolina Panthers because of the fragile state that they are in with the injuries and the soft tissues and the lack of next men up. Saints and Cowboys had a joint practice yesterday in Oxnard, California, which, by the way, Dave Tepper, if you want to have a camp like at the beach at some point, maybe you want to run it down to Myrtle, go down to Conway at Coastal, run it on the blue turf for a bit, and we could go down there and watch some camp at the beach. That would be fantastic. I'm all for that. All for that. You know what? You can go to Daytona 500 infield and run it at the infield there for a while. That would be fun. Super fun. Dallas, Jerry Jones, for everyone that hates Jerry Jones and he makes too many headlines and wants to be part of the show or whatever it is, he flies every media person and every affiliate of the Cowboys to Oxnard, California for several days to cover training camp. It guarantees that they talk. Well, the Cowboys and the Saints in Oxnard, California had a joint practice yesterday, and it got chippy. Super chippy. There were punches thrown. If you're familiar with the WWF wrestler WCW, Rick Steiner, his son, who's known as Braun Breaker, is currently wrestling in WWE. His other son played tight end at Jacksonville State and made the Saints team at tight end. His name is Brock Rechsteiner. Well, cornerback Kalen Carson punched Rechsteiner and then grabbed him by the face mask with not just one, but with two hands.
Kalen Carson, Wake Forest Demon Deacon.
Well done. Well done. Clearly the education didn't help him. Didn't know who he was going against. He grabbed him by the face mask with both fists. Had two fists of face mask and tried dragging him around. Rechsteiner, who clearly understands what his dad's former profession is and what his other brother's profession is, quickly broke free of that. And as he broke free of that, another Cowboys player got to him, in which Rechsteiner wrapped his arms around his waist and lifted him into the air into a near German suplex. The guy did not have a helmet on, and instead of twisting him and landing him on the back of his head, which he easily could have done, he went full amateur wrestling takedown instead and kind of turned to his side. Guy landed a bit on his elbow, and they had to be pulled apart. This is what happens when egos get into play. This is what happens when you're fighting for a roster spot where two teams, and the Saints, by the way, just lost Jordan Tyson for maybe half a season, maybe more, a wide receiver. They got Chris Olave out there making catches, and good for him. Like, it's funny, when I mentioned this to people around the office about what happened, they were like, oh, I love that guy, Chris Olave, after every catch decided, whether it was 10 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards, or 2 yards, spun the ball after every catch. I'm like he had just gained 30 million yards and earned himself $15 million. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. But I'm saying this is the thing that you get in a joint practice session. And the Jacksonville Jaguars and Carolina Panthers are about to jump into one of those. And if it gets chippy, and the Saints had Jacksonville had a joint practice with New Orleans earlier, and nothing happened. Like, there was absolutely nothing that happened. No one can guarantee any of those things. But when the Carolina Panthers are kind of limping around a little bit, especially when it comes to, what Dave Canales said that they got hurt the most by in that Saturday loss at Buffalo was winning in the trenches, I hope it doesn't devolve into that. It could get a little bit weird if you've got Monroe Freeling locking up with a dude who's trying to make a roster, right? Everybody's trying to prove themselves. When egos collide, when bravado collides, when adrenaline collides, things get a little bit weird. And coaches aren't out there in the middle of these plays. They can calm things down as best as they possibly can, and you hope that cooler heads prevail. But they were really close. And here's the thing too. And again, I think joint practices are good. I actually think fights are good. I say this in the promo. I'm like, I'm good with fights. I'm good with fights, especially when it comes in situations where it doesn't hurt you. So team fights, I'm okay with. The other problem is with a joint session, when they have these joint practice sessions, you can now be fined for those things. So cooler heads at some point would have to prevail, but if you're Chris Olave can afford a fine in a joint practice session if he starts something. And he was trying to start something. He didn't light any fires, but he was certainly trying to. Collective bargaining agreement says players can now be fined for fights in joint practice sessions, which is crazy. So if I'm out there locking up with a dude who's 72nd on this roster, just putting this out there as just kind of a case study, and I'm 54th, I'm like, can I afford that? Can I afford to throw a punch, pick a dude up? Here's the absolute bonkers thing about joint practices. And again, what could go wrong, right? What could absolutely go wrong? Rechsteiner, the Saints tight end, Brock Rechsteiner, he's already been suspended by the NFL. He got suspended a couple months ago for the first 6 weeks of the season. So he's not even guaranteed a spot on this roster. And nobody said what it was. I don't know what it was. I mean, who knows? But he was already suspended. He may not get the fine that he could be handed could basically erase anything that he had earned during practice sessions, which he is allowed to do under the CBA. There's no penalty for fighting except for pocketbook penalties. And if it gets chippy, fine. But if it gets chippy with the Panthers, who are already kind of dealing with bangs and bruises, the last thing you need is Jonathan Brooks getting knocked on his ass and a lineman coming to his rescue and guys like breaking fingers or getting twisted up the wrong way, which is usually what starts this stuff, right? Guys get twisted up the wrong way. Somebody says something, a little bit of a low whatever, and everybody jumps to it. And when you have open practice sessions like the one in Oxnard, California, the way the Cowboys have it set up, it's incredibly impressive. I mean, they've got, giant towers put up. There's bunting. There's fabric flags and everywhere. There are significant amounts of bleachers available. The Rams do the same thing. The Rams have, when they have their open practices in Southern California, they put up a lot of bleachers. But in Dallas, it is wild. There's club seating. They have covered seating. There's catering. Like, it is a thing. It is a thing, and they go there every single year. So you just watch out for noise like that, and you wonder if they can keep themselves in check. Again, I'm all for fights. I do not mind a good training camp fight, just not against each other. Carolina taking against other teams. Carolina takes on Jacksonville on Friday. Jacksonville's favored in this one. I'm not sure. Did Liam Cohen say that Trevor Lawrence and the ones were going to start against the Panthers? I'm not sure if that's part of the game plan there.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I would honestly like the defense to get those reps, again, because the more that these starters can be ready for week one, the better on both sides of the ball, considering how slowly they've started the regular season. So hopefully they don't go too hard at each other starting on this joint practice, and everybody can healthily and fully participate in at least, I don't know, the first quarter, maybe a little bit into the second quarter too. And then we can let the likes of the Kenny Pickett's and the whoever Jacksonville's backup quarterback is. I don't even know at this point. I probably should figure it out, but we'll see. Hopefully not a scrappy joint practice starting today.
Jacksonville Jaguars backup quarterback is Nick Mullins, and they have Joey Aguiar on their roster as well, former App State guy. Former Tennessee quarterback. He's fourth on that depth chart. But their bumps and bruises don't look as hardcore as the Carolina Panthers' bumps and bruises when it comes to injuries. When you talk about questionables, Chuba Hubbard, Derek Brown, you were hoping to see Haynes King. You got guys out, Brazel, Scorton, we know those names too. You go down to Jacksonville, they're not household names that are sitting on the sidelines. I'm like, I don't recognize any of these names as someone who lightly follows other rosters. Like Parker Washington last year, I guess, is the most significant because he played a big role in that receiving game, and he's just listed as questionable. No, nothing big there. The Carolina Panthers can't afford to lose any more dudes. Just saying. Joint practice today, game on Friday. You can listen to it, 7 o'clock kick on our family station, Mix 101.5.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. Carolina Panthers are participating in a joint practice with the Jacksonville Jaguars today as they prepare for Friday's preseason game against each other. For all the updates from joint practice, tune into the Adam Gold Show from 12 to 3 and The Drive with Tim Donnelly from 3 to 6 right here on 99.9 The Fan. NC State football kicks off its season in just 10 days when the Wolfpack will travel to Charlottesville to take on Virginia. Hear from Coach Dave Doran about the prep for Week 0 on this season's first edition of Wolfpack Weekly tonight at 6 o'clock right here on 99.9 The Fan. The Durham Bulls will play 2 tonight against the Gwinnett Stripers after last night's series opener was postponed due to rain. Bulls coverage is available on 620 AM Buzz Sports Radio, 99.9 FM HD2, and WRAL News Plus, with first pitch of Game 1 scheduled for 5:05 p.m. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
Get up early, start kind of prepping for the show, but waking up and doing household things, right? I make coffee, unload the dishwasher, do a few things, get myself settled in, and start reading. My wife often joins me at the table. And, you know, I'm involved in youth sports, not in the travel side yet. I'm assuming I'll get there at some point. But, you know, I coach my kids through rec sports, and I have a good time with it. It's fun. I think it's fun. Sometimes it gets a little bit intense, but it's fun for the most part. You know, the biggest tears are about, you know, whether or not I left my glove at home or whether or not I filled my water bottle at this point, which is great. But I got tipped. My wife tips me to this thing, and she goes, "Did you know there's a new reality series about baseball moms?" And I'm like, no, I have no clue what this is. This feels weird. I've seen enough, like, YouTube stuff. You know, there's clips of things and kind of parody stuff, and it's kind of funny. Well, apparently there's a new reality show. A new reality show that's going to debut in about a month on Paramount Plus called Team Moms Baseball. And it's produced and developed by Kim Kardashian. And I thought to myself, wait a second. I'm like, I guess, you know, you have the Real Housewives series, right? For those of you in reality television. It's not quite Big Brother. But you have the Real Housewives. You've got the real, tattooed wives. There's dance moms. And now there's this Team Moms Baseball. And the first comments that my wife brought up to me about seeing these team moms, and a lot of other team moms, let's be honest, they're way overdressed for watching their sons play baseball. It's a quick search. You won't have to look hard to find it. And I think those of you who are sports parents would get a very good laugh out of it. You would find it incredibly amusing. And, you know, Procter & Gamble, or maybe it was Amazon or something like that. Remember during the Winter Olympic Games, there was and maybe it was Amazon, they did a commercial about a mom who was driving their kid, or it was Bank of America, it doesn't matter. They were driving their kid to practice every morning to the ice hockey rink, and they were cold. And mom was out there just wearing like a sweater and jeans and getting up early and drinking coffee. She orders herself like a giant jacket. That's how I imagine a mom. And you're like, when you see this group of moms, you're thinking to yourself, this is not real. This cannot be real. This has to be absolutely staged for TV. And then you realize what they're following and who they're following. This is a group of 7 moms and dads for the most part, but it's mostly about the moms, team moms. Their kids attend a baseball training school in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's called Legendary Prep. And if you go to their website, it is all about baseball training. It's about high-level skills training that comes along with some mental training and then, obviously, baseball. And it's for 6th graders through 12th graders. And then you look and you go, okay, I get the location. And I lived in near Scottsdale, Arizona when I lived in the Phoenix area for 6+ years. I was close. I understand the kind of wealth that comes along with it. It's not exaggerated. You drive by a home, it looks like an Adobe home, and you look at the price tag and you're like, damn. And you go, it takes money to live there, and it does. And then you look at the pictures and you're like, okay, I guess I kind of buy it, but still it's 95 degrees. I'm never going to look this fantastic on a metal bleacher. It just isn't going to happen. You're like, where are the wagons? Where are the tents? Where are the 3 other small kids that are being drug along to practice to these games? They don't exist. Now, remember, this is a publicity photo and just one photo. But you're like, okay. And the idea, it's funny because I think you could apply this to anywhere across youth sports. The drama unfolds in the stands while the kids compete in the field, where the parents are the children's biggest champions and each other's fiercest critics. Friendships are tested. Rivalries emerge, proving that baseball is more than a game. It's a lifestyle. I'm like, okay. And then you get to the descriptions because they dropped in. And it's great because when you think of reality television shows, like a lot of you probably watch The Voice, right? The Voice is just about person comes out and sings. Do they capture the attention of the ear and they spin around and then you get the backstory, right? But all you hear is the voice. You walk into the home of Big Brother, not celebrity Big Brother, but like Big Brother, and you're just getting mostly just random people, right? They just kind of try out for the show. Survivor, same kind of deal. But these reality shows, quote unquote, teen moms, dance moms, cheer moms, all these moms, they always come with something extra. And they always have to be extra. Like the noise that surrounds them isn't enough. And they introduced 7 main characters, right? 7 main characters. And of those 7 main characters, 2 have to mention alcohol. Quote, if you want to win, parentheses, and drink some wine, the Baldrys are your family. Or the mom who says what everyone else is thinking. Nina brings the tough love with a little Pilates and tequila on the side. And the Taylors, retired at 40. So this makes it real for a lot of you, I know. Retired at 40 and living their best life. If there's a party, the Taylors are probably throwing it. So we have more than just sports, clearly. You're here to watch the train wreck drama that comes along with being fueled by alcohol. Not baseball, not youth sports, the twist that comes along with it. There is an actual celebrity, though. There is an actual celebrity. The Mears family are in this. Trish, the mom, that's the mom. The dad is Casey, and the son is Hayden. Oh, wait. Did you just say Casey Mears, Paul? I did say Casey Mears. And for those of you who follow NASCAR, Casey Mears, an American professional NASCAR Cup driver. He is out there. He takes DNFs. His dad, the Mears family, Roger Mears, drives NASCAR and stock cars and off-road. So you got a little bit of this and a little bit. Dude won the Coca-Cola 600 about 20 years ago. But you are talking about having some sort of. Maybe there'll be more NASCAR drivers involved. Maybe they'll be making some appearances. But when you think about this kind of stuff, you hope, and you know it's not going to. Let's be honest. It's not going to show you in a good light if you're an actual sports parent who really is just out there to support your kid, isn't too involved in the kind of day-to-day operation, so to speak. And some are, and I totally get that. Like, there's room for that. There's room for everybody at this table. But if I've already got to include the fact that one drinks wine, one drinks tequila, and one family likes to party, you're probably not going to get a true taste of what being a sports parent is about. I would love to be the sports mom who's hurried and harried getting out the door, who realizes that their kid left their batter's helmet at home and has to turn around 20 minutes into the drive. Or a cleat is lost, or I'm missing socks, or the bat suddenly you found a dent in it and the kid won't let go, or the kid that gets hit in the face with a T-ball. Like, that's the blood and the guts and the underlying stuff. And how about 6 hours at a field and not just 1.5 for an entire weekend of soccer? Just sitting there going, all right, more orange slices after a 3-hour drive. You know it's not going to show the real stuff. You know it's going to be manufactured drama, but you're going to watch anyway.
There's not going to be a segment on deciding is it going to be granola bars or oranges today for the team snack?
There probably will not be that.
I'm interested in that. What if they go over like, they go to the store like, do I want to get the organic oranges or do I just want the regular ones? They cost a little bit less. But I guess if your kid is playing Premier Baseball Academy baseball, you can probably afford the organic oranges.
You probably can. I'm looking at these are moms who have kids in sports.
Gatorade or Powerade, they could do a whole episode on that.
These are not.
Or Body Armor. Oh my gosh.
These are not team moms. If you've ever met a team mom, and maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe these every one of these 7 women is going to show up with a giant cardboard box with potato chips and Gatorade and a bunch of hair ribbons or a bunch of eye black, and they're going to show up, and one will dress up as a mascot. I probably no. I'll have best intentions in mind, but the lowest of
September 24th.
Yep.
Start the countdown now. Surely there will be nothing else that we're watching by then that we need to tune in for.
When's Big Brother start? Is it already underway?
Oh, yeah, Big Brother, they're getting close to the jury at this point.
Gotcha. See?
It's more of a summer show.
From executive producer Kim Kardashian and the producers of Love Island USA, Team Moms Baseball.